now Donald Elder, President of QP Local 3904.
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank Carlos for the invitation to come today. He left the room, I guess. But anyway, I represent his local, and so it's my privilege to address the group. I totally agree with your approach that we have to establish some kind of a community support for the kind of militancy that you're speaking of. And my sense of things at the moment is that we're not very successful in converting the public to our point of view, and that a good evidence of this would be, perhaps I think it was 6 years ago, there was a garbage strike in Toronto, which was very badly handled. And in the end, it was the end of David Miller, the mayor. But after that, the new mayor was elected 4 years ago, and almost his first move was to privatize garbage collection from Yonge Street West. There wasn't a murmur from the public. The only murmurs we heard were that things weren't quite as good as they had been, but after the first few weeks, nothing. And now his platform calls for the privatization of garbage collection from Yonge Street East, which would be the rest of the Saskatoon City. Anyway, I don't have a lot to add about precariousness because we're all in the same boat. I represent QP 3904 at Ryerson, and I do have a couple of notes I'd like to share with you. We represent the sessional instructors, the Chang School instructors who are the continuing education, and that's a good example of privatization, right? You've got $6 million, you can have school if you like. So I continue to call it the continuing education part. The TAs and GAs are the third group. And the local began as part of the Canadian Union of Educational Workers, who were organized as early as the mid-70s. And in 1995, the members of the local voted to join the Canadian Union of Public Employees, which now includes locals in all the universities that, and your panel in front of you today are representatives. It was the sessional instructors who were first organized, and they remain the backbone of the union. The instructors at the Chang School, Continuing Education, and more recently the TAs and GAs were organized by the local more recently. As the graduate programs expand at the university, the number of TAs will and does exceed the number of sessional instructors. Sessional instructors teach at the university between 9 and 15 hours a week. A full workload is 15 to 16 hours a week, and reduced workload fewer than 15 hours, but more than 9. There's a core of sessional instructors who made a career of teaching, even though up to now each instructor has to apply for his or her work each semester. Under the last collective agreement, longer-term contracts were signed at about 20, 2- and 3-year contracts were created. Part-time instructors teach fewer than 9 hours, usually 3 to 6 hours, and Ryerson is the only university that pays instructors by the hour and not by the course. And my feeling would be that the Unit 1 members, the sessional members, are not particularly militant at this time. QP 3904 has 3 separate collective agreements with the universities, Units 1, Unit 2, and 3. As we are all aware, collective agreements are a developing story. For example, the Unit 1 contracts has benefits for sessional and reduced workload instructors, and not for part-time instructors fewer than 9 hours. Until the final 2 years of our current collective agreement, Unit 2, the Chang School, had no benefits, and now they have beginning of a benefit package that can only be improved by negotiations. Our current 4-year contracts are up in August of this year. Bargaining committees for each unit have been selected, and surveys of our members are now in hand. We expect serious bargaining to begin about the second week of May after the marks are in. I was going to make sense of the collegiality of what our position here is. While QP instructors are always at a disadvantage as compared to permanent faculty, our instructor members are recognized as significant players in the life of the university. However, a recent 2012 survey of the university employees, which included members of the local, showed that there is a strong feeling of dissatisfaction with part-time QP life on the campus. The people that were mentioned here about people who work as a Rhodes Scholar, who said work in different places, we have the same people apart in addition to the full-time sessional instructors, there are a number of part-time, well, quite a number of part-time instructors who work around. And in the area, I know, for example, someone who teaches here and teaches in Guelph and teaches in Humber College, and so very, very precarious and very difficult, and they have to apply for their work each semester. And so we thought the longer-term contracts would be a kind of a coup, a kind of bonus, I suppose, for being around for a long time. And so it turned out in the last contract, and there were several longer-term contracts that were offered. The current issue with the problem is job security and workload. And with the support of CUPE National, we take CUPE's position of no concessions. And this is pretty well accepted by management at the moment. And I think our negotiations, when they will begin, is we're at this point now, and where do we go from here? And so I think that our position is, well, we're part of the discussion with regard to budgets. We are informed that budgets are being reduced, and of course there's going to be that much money around, class size is growing, and of course, unfortunately, student fees are increasing. So this is, they're the ones who are really bearing the weight of all this. For your information, one of the current issues now being considered is class size, and I believe that we are the only university left that has restriction on class sizes for QE people. Management has suggested that they're willing to sign longer-term contracts in exchange for unlimited class size. Our understanding to this point has been that longer-term contracts are a bonus earned by more senior instructors. Currently, QP class sizes are limited to sections, and a section is 55 students. Instructors are paid overload for extra students over 55. The issue is that unlimited class sizes will be an advantage to a certain number of QP instructors, but sessional instructors teaching 4 or 5 sections will be out of work because the classes will be combined. On the other hand, there's a group of limited-term faculty people who are part of the Ryerson Faculty Association, who are the full-time instructors and the tenured professors. Limited-term faculty people are on 2-year contracts, and they are given large classes and, I guess, work to death with the help of TAs and GAs to support them. But we think, at least personally I think, that there's a field of work that we don't have anyway, and that we should be starting in on it. If there are questions with regard to the collective agreements that we have, I'd be very happy to answer them if I can. I have copies of the 3 contracts here if anyone's interested, and I'm open to questions.
You have another 3 minutes. I was not
I finished my 3 minutes. Oh, I did have one point I wanted to make,
okay.
And what is that if the reconstruction of the academy is to take place, and I agree with the militancy of your point of view, but in the current political situation, I would imagine that reform has to take place from the faculty, from the security of the tenured position. And you don't agree? That the university has to be reconstructed together rather than apart. And maybe the beginning has to take place inside.